Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making an impact in our community and around the globe. And today we're thrilled to have Karin Coger, a legal maverick who's transforming content creators, entrepreneurs, and student athletes into masters of their own destinies. Karin empowers individuals to own, protect, and scale their businesses using trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. And her passion for intellectual property law stems from a deep-rooted belief in the power of creativity and the need for creators to have control of their own work. So get ready for an insightful conversation about navigating the legal landscape of content creation, entrepreneurship, and name, image, and likeness rights. Karin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.
Of course. Now let's start with what sparked your interest in intellectual property law and led you to pursue this career path.
Absolutely. So I had always been interested in media. So growing up, that was where I wanted to pursue my passion. I attended Hampton University for undergrad and was a mass media major with a focus on broadcast journalism. And when I decided that I was also interested in law, I knew that I wanted to pursue intellectual property. However, upon graduation from law school, I attended Howard University School of Law. I was not able to find an intellectual property position right away. So I started in litigation. And when I was able to branch out on my own, I went back to my original passion.
I love that. And passion always provides a way not only to make a living, but enjoy what you do. And you certainly do that, but also helping others as well. How do you help content creators protect their intellectual property assets, such as trademarks and copyrights?
So the first step is talking with the content creators and letting them know what assets they have that they should trademark and copyright. So that is the biggest complaint that I've heard from content creators. They're like, I heard that I should do this, but I don't even know where to start. So the way I break it down to people, because there's also confusion about trademarks and copyrights. So I say, think about your trademark as your brand. Think about Nike, the swoosh symbol, the words. You think about Starbucks and the little lady on the cup. So that is your brand, and then that is what you are going to trademark. However, your content is what you copyright. So think about that. Content is what you copyright. So whatever you have written, whether it's books, newsletters, your actual podcast episodes, photos you've taken, these are all your content assets that need to be protected.
I think for so many, there are a lot of misconceptions or just not even knowing that it's possible to copyright some of this content. And as a content creator myself, knowing that we put in endless amounts of work to then put this creative brief and piece into the ethos. And then it's like, okay, we may see someone just repost it on their social media or edit it and reuse it as their own. And you're going, wait, that's my intellectual property. This is something that I created. So, what are some of your main common misconceptions that you see with the entrepreneurs regarding intellectual property protection? And then I could also imagine that for entrepreneurs, bootstrappers, content creators, the costs involved, they just may think, oh, okay, that's way too expensive. I may not be able to do it. But the flip side of that is if you don't do it, it's going to cost you way more than it may have done to just go ahead and invest in that.
Absolutely. So when people start their businesses or their brands, they'll typically, go out, find somebody to create a logo for them. They may pay somebody, or a friend may make it for them. And they'll go out and buy their domain names and then come up with their colors. And they will do all of these things, usually without consulting with an intellectual property attorney first. And that is not what you want to do, because consulting with us first we will work with you to do some research to let you know, number one, is that brand name or business name available? Is somebody using it already? Or is something that you have very similar to somebody else's business or brand, it might not be the exact words or terms, but if it's close enough that it could be confusingly similar, you could have an issue down the line. So again, I think that brands and businesses should talk to us at the beginning before you invest, $100, $5,000, $10,000 into building your brand. So that would be number one for me.
A very good advice there. And we talked, on the onset about entrepreneurs and content creators, but student athletes have a large play in this as well when it comes to name, image, and likeness. What are some of the recent changes in the NCAA rules allowing student athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness that now impacts your practice area?
So the NCAA rules changed on July 1st, 2021. So prior to that date, student athletes were not able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. They couldn't even, if you had a student athlete that perhaps was a gamer and was playing on Twitch and making money from YouTube prior to going to college, they couldn't do that anymore. So now those rules have changed. Student athletes can now partner with businesses and brands just like professional athletes. So, they can get an Adidas contract, a Nike contract. They can sell clothes on their own, or they can create themselves into a brand. So it's a whole new world for student athletes. And if you think about it, the average business person or content creator are kind of confused about IP rules, and so student athletes are as well. So that is where I come in. I speak with both student athletes, parents, coaches, and schools about the new rules and what is available for them. So a few things that are top of mind. Number one, all schools or all states do not allow high school students or junior high school students to participate in NIL. So number one, this opened up, and people are really excited and they want to go ahead and jump in. So you have to figure out, if you're a high school or junior high school student, whether it's even allowable in your state, because what can happen is you enter into an NIL deal at that age and it's not permissible, and that could affect you down the line. Now, if you are a college athlete, also, are you of the age of majority? Some people enter college and enter sports and they're still 16 or 17 years old. Are you even able to, sign contracts, for yourself, or do you need a parent or a guardian to help you enter into a contract? And then, do you know what you're signing? Most oftentimes, no. Again, the average, business owner, a lot of times when they're approached with these type of contracts, they have no clue what they're signing and what rights they're signing away. So I would say probably the most famous case that is not specifically NILs, but when you think about the story of Michael Orr and The Blind Side, and that came up in the news, recently. He was a minor. He was taken in. He was taken in by the Tui family. They were under a conservatorship, and in that, they were able to control his name, image, and likeness rights. And here we are years later in finding out about that. And it's like, wait a second, well, what about me? Where is my money? So my number one piece of advice for any student athlete and parent that's trying to help their student athlete is consult with an attorney, and not just a regular attorney. You want to consult with an attorney that is well-versed in either contracts and intellectual property. A real estate attorney may not be all up on the intellectual property laws. You want to determine, if you are entering into a contract, how can this brand use your name, image, and likeness, and how long? Sometimes people will submit contracts to content creators and state, we can use your content in perpetuity. That means forever. You don't want that, do you? So you want to look out for terms such as that. How are they able to use your name, image, and likeness, or your photos? Can they alter them? Can they change your clothing? Can they Photoshop them? These are all issues that will come up with NIL and student athletes.
Great advice, and so important for student athletes and their parents, because for many of them, they may be a first generation student athlete and they're super gifted. And you're sort of riding this high of, we're getting deals and we're getting opportunities. Let's go, go, go. But being able to have someone like yourself on their side to look through contracts and to advocate for you is so important. What are your thoughts on the evolution of intellectual property law in the digital age, especially with the rise of new technologies and AI platforms?
Okay. Well, I always say that technology moves at lightning speed and it's way faster than the law. So right now, AI has just opened a whole new can of worms in the intellectual property space. So some issues that we see are, as we spoke about, giving your image to a website for them to alter their image, or if you're using a site such as ChatGPT to create an article, where are they pulling that information from? Are they pulling it from somebody else's, original content? So there are issues there, in again, the laws have not caught up with the fast-paced world of AI. So for instance, now the US Copyright Office, they are holding hearings, they are trying to come up with rules and regulations regarding AI and intellectual property.
It's a very interesting space and time to be alive, not only because of AI itself, but how really, like you said, the laws have not progressed enough with the rise of artificial intelligence and these digital tools, let alone how they will impact name, likeness, and all of that there. So that's an interesting time and space to be in. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs and content creators, student athletes as well, who are just starting to navigate the legal aspects of their businesses?
So, number one, to start a business. So, especially with student athletes, if you enter into these NIL contracts, you're getting paid to perform a service. And once you start getting paid, that money will become taxable if you're making over $600. So you want to separate your business money from your personal money. You also do that by setting up a business. And so that's just not for student athletes. I would say to do that for content creators all across the board. Oftentimes, most people usually start out with an LLC. It provides protection again for your personal assets, and depending on how your business grows, you'll need to speak with somebody to determine whether you want to keep your business as an LLC or whether you want to change it into a corporation down the line. Contracts are key. So I mentioned before that a lot of times people start a business and they'll purchase a logo from somebody, or maybe their friend will buy it from them. Do you own that logo? That's something that a lot of people don't think about. So if I use a lot of freelancers, for instance, on Upwork or Fiverr, and those sites have terms and conditions, but I also, when I purchase something such as a logo or content, I do a copyright transfer agreement, because the person that creates is the person that owns. So there are also work for hire laws. So the thought process is, I hired you to perform this service, therefore, I own the product. But just having that additional contract will give you, additional protection.
We talked about the future aspirations of aspiring entrepreneurs, content creators. What about Coger Law Firm and how you envision to expanding your impact in the intellectual property law space? What are your aspirations for 2024 and beyond?
Absolutely. So we're very excited because we are about to roll out a subscription program. So a barrier that a lot of people have when it comes to the law is, as we spoke at the beginning of the podcast, are costs. A lot of times people are afraid that this is going to cost so much money and they just shy away from it. However, we're going to be offering a subscription program that will allow content creators and entrepreneurs monthly access to our law firm, and the other attorneys and paralegals that work with us, so they are able to receive education every month via webinars. We will have a content library or a contract library that they will have access to if they want to DIY or do your own contracts. You also have access to us to file trademarks and copyrights for you. And if you're a part of that subscription program, it will be there will be a percentage off. And we just want you to think of us as house counsel for your intellectual property. Again, a lot of people think of attorneys like in a traditional sense, but they don't think about having us for your podcast episodes. Do I need to copyright every single podcast episode, or can I batch them and file 10 at a time like you can for photographs? So we're very excited to be able to help people in this way.
I love that you are innovatively coming up with a way to make it accessible for so many different industries and people across landscapes to be able to know and rely on you and your team. Where can people go to learn more about you, Coger Law Firm, reach out to you and your team, and then be a part of that subscription service?
Absolutely. So you can find us at www.cogerlawfirm.com. That's Coger lawfirm.com. If you would like to go ahead and book a 15-minute intro call, you can find us at go.cogerlawfirm.com, and we can be found on all social media.
Thank you for coming on the show and for powering the good in our community and around the world.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.